I've been saying for quite some time that we are in the midst of a relationship revolution where the ways we used to approach relationships and the things we used to seek out in relationships has rapidly changed, which means now, how do we start anew? How do we move forward in our relationships? And an animal outside of my window as I was contemplating the angle of this video just gave me all the information I needed. Peace, my name is Stacy Patrice. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. So for too long, I have been a studier of relationships, a lover, a person who convenes around relationships, connections, interconnections in big groups, one-on-one consultations, astrological synastry, all things relationships. After all, I'm a Venus and Pisces. I love it so much. So all of these things around relationships have felt like ways in which humans love to connect, ways in which we love to speak with each other, converse with each other, talk with each other around things that matter to us. And we do this in our friendships. But why is it that when it comes to relationships, things quicken and get complicated? Why is it that when we are in company with friends and we are in company with people that we trust and adore so much, we somehow reserve that ability, that keen, discerning instinct about what is important in our relationships when we actually encounter people who are interested in us. And I'm not talking about a person who is being skeptical and cynical and trying to catch someone in a lie, a person who's being condescending and mean to someone upon meeting them because that's what they're accustomed to dealing with. I'm talking about a person who says, you know what, actually, I want to be in my natural state, how I would with anyone else, and approach what I'm hearing and listening to from a real space, knowing that I have the autonomy to discern and to choose and to select, as well as continue to progress with someone. And the reason I'm bringing this up today is because intuition is a huge part of relationships. And it's often the part that I notice people deferring. Even in my own experience in my past, I used to defer what I felt in my intuition to other people to see it for me. And what I learned about that is that other people can see the things that are on the surface. But when it came to me, I could feel the things that were not being said and not being expressed. And if I trade what I feel for what's being said, or if I trade my vision for someone else's, it may create illusion, delusion, or otherwise discredit what it is that I know to be true without having to find out firsthand. Here's something interesting. In our society as a whole, it is very common for people to approach relationships from a very physical standpoint. And I'm not just talking about sex, I'm talking about physicality, what they can see, what they can touch, what was said, what was heard in real life, those tangibles, the on the paper, reputation about who someone is and what they have to offer, the things that people say out of their mouths as credit to who it is that they've been, and we take those stories as truth. I'm not at all suggesting that everyone is lying, nor am I suggesting that there is no one to trust. What I am saying is we are not looking at our relationships from a clear perspective. And that clear perspective first involves knowing ourselves. Two, trusting ourselves. Three, understanding what it is that we are searching for. And then four, understanding if that is what is being presented, that interlocks with it, what it is that we are in necessity to experience and is on track for our purpose and all of those things. One of the things people forget is that relationships are bonds. Relationships are bonds, whether they are friendships, whether they are family, whether they are romantic or otherwise partnerships that are healthy. Relationships are bonds. So if you are trying to bond yourself to someone else, first of all, that effort is not needed because the people that are connected to you are already connected to you. You just haven't met all of them yet. It's like you meet a person in the bond that has already been established. And for some of you, you're going to go, wait a minute. But listen, hear me out. In a bond that's already been established, that means that who you are, what you're into, what you came here to do already has an imprint, already has its own signature in life through you. Now, that same signature can be found in others. That same kind of imprint in varying degrees can be found in others. So when you meet people, you're meeting the parts that you and this other person bond. And if you don't bond, then you are meeting someone who is not here for that. It's really actually simple. It's just that we let the physical start to dictate things in our lives. So I am saying that our relationships needing a revolution or being in a revolutionary state is why we are changing the states. It's why so many people are single and so many people are exiting relationships, along with the people who have newly found relationships and are finding the perfect relationships for them. All of this is happening simultaneously because it's part of this revolution that I'm referring to. And this revolution says, that our relationships will look and feel more strange than anything we've seen in the past, but they will be perfectly unionized with us. They will be in perfect union with us because of the simple fact that we are starting to understand what those dynamics to pay attention to are really about. Not a doctrine that someone laid on paper or laid in history, not a culture being imposed upon us, but something that is actually serving, feeding, and allowing us to grow. So I definitely think of Venus and Jupiter when it comes to relationships, but I also think of Saturn. And here's why Saturn matters. Saturn is commitment, Saturn is discipline, and Saturn is going to deliver you the steps and the things you need to do. I always say the symbol for Saturn looks like a chair. Sit your tail down. Saturn is going to have you seated in your truth, have you seated in what it is that you need to commit to. So you don't have to worry about whether you're going to be able to commit or not, because if you consider the idea of Saturn when it comes to your relationships, you're going to be required to deal with it anyway. It's just when. It's just with whom, where. All of these questions start to come forward. But I also associate relationships a lot, especially in this area, with Aquarius. And Aquarius is that unconventional, that different, eccentric, changeable kind of relationship. It's the things that intrigue you, that you find mysterious, but you have to detach from bonding yourself to as if they're not also in you. The bond has already been established. So you're not bonding yourself to someone and looking for them to be the thing that you need. You are bonding from the thing that you need, which is yourself, your own understanding, your own truth, your own capacity and ability to do what is authentic to you. And that is what is attracting and magnetizing relationships. In addition to that, I think Venus's play on relationships is sometimes overstated. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, Venus means love and it's beauty and it's sacredness." And yes, it is all of that. It gives like the aesthetic of the relationship to a certain degree. But one of the things about Venus for me is that Venus is about this outpouring energy. It's like an energy of expression as it relates to love. However, are you looking to be with yourself in all capacities? Or are you looking to grow and expand and learn to commit to the things that may be challenging and hard? And this is why I bring up Jupiter and Saturn as opposed to just Venus. Venus is also important, of course, but let's not just keep picking the relationships just that we're attracted to, which is Mars, right? Not just the relationships we're attracted to, but also looking at the relationships from what it is that they enliven and connect with and bring forward in our lives. So I think also one of the things that I have realized is that there is an importance in Rahu in the chart that talks about how it is that we move forward, like our North Star, how we move forward, what our obsessions are, the ways in which we just like have a desire and we're following and we're going after it and we're leaning towards it, even more so than the way that people describe Mars in certain aspects. It's just like a natural inclination for you personally. Um, I think when it comes to relationships, that is what people have been following. It's like, where do I need to go? My desire. But my question has always been my question. You may know your desire, but do you know the balm that's needed in your relationships. The balm is just as important, if not more important, than the desire. Because if you don't have the balm, you won't ever feel at ease. You won't make it to trust. And you definitely won't have a person that can help feed the aspects of you that relationships provide that keep things moving and growing and being healthy and expansive. And so the balm of your relationships is about what is it that you need that smooths over this thing, this tendency, this nervous ability to get riled up. And I see this, and when I consult with people around relationships, I can always feel it almost right away. I can always see the balm that the person needs, that if they had that in a relationship, it would just make such a difference. It would make the things that they worry about, that they feel more at ease, more comfortable, and therefore it opens up new doors in the ways that they deal, the ways they relate and communicate and move forward in all of these capacities. So our relationships are indeed going through a revolution, but it does take some resolution. It takes us to take a little deeper look at who we are and what's happening first in our charts, but also in our experiences. What has happened with you as it relates to relationships? This is something I look at every time Mercury goes into retrograde. I don't even like preemptively look. It just happens. It's like the way that Mercury moves through me is like looking at those factors. What are the things that have happened? This is where you give yourself compassion, which is very, very Venus oriented. It's very oriented, to how it is that you see yourself and the way that you love and the quality and the worth and the value of your love. And when I think about my own life and I see the ways that I have loved people so intensely and intently, I wonder why I gave it at all. I wonder why those people. And I have resolved a lot of those questions, but I've always wondered, what's in it for me in the way that I love? What's in it for me, right? Because sometimes we think of love as something you give away, but love is something that resides within, that connects to people when people have a language and respectability about why those qualities matter, why that expression is queen. And a lot of times it's hard to find the people who do that because we're holding it back. We want to express it, or we're giving from an empty place, giving from a void. Or in some occasions, we are giving for the expectation of having what we're giving returned. It's almost like a trick, like a manipulation. Like, oh, if I do all of this, this will make this person do this for me. And then I'll have the thing that I could have just asked for, the thing I could have just been honest about. But I'll utilize my savviness to pull it from people so that I get it and it's mine. And that kind of manipulation will have a person say, I never want to be in a relationship again. I'm not at all interested in relationships and things that change the nature of my love, change the water that I have to offer others, that take me through the changes. But it very well may be in your chart that that's how you learn to create boundaries. That's how you learn to love. So then we're back to my point. What is the balm? What is the balm? BALM. What is the balm in your relationships that soothes over the things that make you most inadequate or unable to love? Those things need to be addressed. Those things need to be built in to your encounters. You need to change the environment and move around until those aspects are showing up in your life. And you need to lead with that knowledge, not tell everyone about it. Lead with it, knowing what will not be satisfactory to that truth through feeling. Your intuition knows when you're out of your league. You just sometimes change your mind. You say, but I am attracted to it. Well, so what? There are lots of insects attracted to you and the way you smell and the way you look, and they find you to be quite pretty. But it doesn't mean that there's any fruit in that relationship. It might just mean you satisfied some lower urges. You might have satisfied strong instinct for attraction, which means that this person could be a part of your life in some way. But if you just utilize it as a physical thing, as a physicality, it doesn't really speak to true compatibility. And your true compatibility definitely comes from knowing what is the balm that will enhance relationships. And I am even going to say that you can give yourself some of this balm. You could go and purchase this balm, is what I'm saying, like in metaphor. You can have that balm and you can have it at home, but you may need somebody else to help you apply it. And this is where it gets really juicy for me. It's like, okay, so I if I say I get nervous to speak my mind, this is not me. I'm just giving an example. It's definitely not me. If I'm nervous to speak my mind in relationships and I'm nervous to tell people how I really feel, right? Let's say that that is the thing that a person knows about themselves. And then the balm is they learn how to speak up. They learn how to say what it is they feel. They start saying, like, oh, I'm learning how to use my voice. I'm learning to open my throat chakra so that now I can say how I feel. But they may not say it in real time. They may be waiting for time to pass before they say it. They may be wanting this person to reassure them before they can say it. So in relationships, the person they're with is fighting for their life. They're constantly fighting, trying to see where they're at. They're like, I don't know where I stand with you. I have no idea what's happening. I don't know why we can't converse freely. It just seems like it's stuck. Like you won't ever tell me what you're feeling. You'll never tell me what's really going on. And then when they do speak, it comes out almost like an attack. It's like, well, it's this and it's this and it's this. And the other person is thinking like, yeah, I don't want to be a part of that relationship because I need somebody who can talk to me openly and clearly. And if they love each other enough, maybe that's something they work out fairly early on. Or maybe they learn to work that out with each other. But my point, if you are not currently in a relationship, if you are revolutionizing your idea of relationships, is that having someone who knows how to apply that balm will help you more effectively utilize its medicine and its properties. So that person, for the person I mentioned, may look like someone who says, okay, I can see you have some things on your mind that you want to talk about. Let's sit and talk. Let's have a conversation. You know, when you experience me, what do you feel? You know, when we are spending time together, for instance, this thing that I do feels really good to me, but I've never checked in. How does that feel for you? And then now the person has permission. And not that they needed permission, but that might be how that person helps them apply the balm. They needed permission. They needed to be asked in order for that person to have true words come through because they know how to speak their mind, but there's still something else that's not grasping. And so this might not be the way that people would have handled relationships 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. But now we have more people in therapy, more people who are awakened and studying these properties, have clearer vision, have more intellect around their emotions and understanding what it is that they're feeling inside. So maybe now this language is more smooth in a way that when these two people unite, already having this rhythm between them, now they are starting to work out the more physical things so that they understand each other on that level after the compatibility and connection has been established. I want to know what you all think about this because I think that having this bigger picture mentality on relationships is probably the most important part of this revolution. Without this bigger picture, without just seeing ourselves as physical beings, without just thinking, oh, there's a spiritual connection to the divine and that's going to guide our relationships, what are all of these interconnected aspects that show us very clearly from the beginning what it is that we need to see about each other and how in our own journey, in our own walk with other humans, we are able to kind of sense when we are safe, when we are in a compatible attraction, and when it is purely just physical and we haven't gathered enough information, i.e., we are not yet in that other dynamic form of relationship other than the physical attraction. And therefore, that relationship becomes something else, but not the one that provides the application of the balm that is necessary for the healthy relationship. Let me know what you think in the comments. We're just getting started. I can't wait to talk with you all more about this. Like, share, subscribe, and definitely comment, and I'll see you there. Peace.